we have two parallel lines intersected by this transversal. We know these two lines are parallel because they don't touch. They're never going to cross. They're never going to intersect. This is a rando line that goes through them both. So that's why we call it a transversal. The difference between what we're working on right now and what we worked on with the angle pairs is those lines weren't parallel. So kind of same concepts, but now we have parallel lines. So we have 8 total angles. 1, 2, 3, that's kind of cute. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Now, vertical angles are angles that are directly across from one another, right? So 3 and 2 are vertical angles. Okay, so angle 3 and angle 2. That's not to say angle 1 and angle 4 aren't vertical also, or 7 and 6 and 5 and 8. Okay. Corresponding angles are angles that are in the same place on the different parallel lines. So we have 1 and 5 are in the same place on the different parallel lines. Oop, I did 5 first, but it's okay. 2 and 6, 3 and 7, 4 and 8, same place, different lines. Alternate interior angles are on the inside, so on the inside of the parallel lines, but they alternate, meaning go across from the transversal. Okay, so angle 4 and angle 5, they're alternate interior versus exterior on the outside of the parallel lines and alternate. So on the opposite side of the line. So we have angle 2 and angle 7. Whoa, 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 whoa. We could also say that 1 and 8 are exterior alternate angles. They're on the outside and they're opposite from one another. And lastly, I needed to add in consecutive interior angles. Well, green, brown, orange for orange. Are the angles that are on the inside, so like the blue, but not across. So, I wanted orange. 4 and 6 are on the inside, on the same side of the transversal. Similarly, 3 and 5 are on the same other side, but they're on the same side of the transversal, and they are consecutive interior angles. So what happens next? Okay, we have a line, and I want to draw a parallel line. So it says choose a line to set the slope. Okay, I chose this line. Now remember, any point can make a line through it that's parallel. Okay, so now I have a parallel line. I'm going to draw another line that is my transversal. Okay, now the book has a example, and I'm going to make my angles here first. Notice when I move this transversal, what stays the same? The angles, the vertical angles always stay the same, okay? The consecutive angles stay the same. The interior, alternate interior angles stay the same. The alternate exterior angles stay the same, okay? So that brings us to these theorems where they're congruent angles. If two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then the pairs of the corresponding angles are congruent. So therefore, angle 2 is congruent to angle 6, angle 3 is congruent to angle 7, for all of the angles that correspond. Alternate interior angles, same. All of the angles that are alternate interior angles are going to be congruent. So they're going to be exactly the same. The exterior angles are going to be the same measure. So if 1 is equal to 106, then 8 is equal to 106. Now, where things are different is the consecutive interior angles. So we have these two, they're a linear pair. They're two angles on a line that make up the whole line. A whole line is equal to 180 degrees, okay? So we know that, we've known that for a while, linear pairs add up to 180 degrees. Now we have, with all of these angle theorems that we just talked about, we already knew that these are vertical angles, they're straight across from each other. So if this equals 133, this has to equal 133. Similarly, well, let's stop for right there, okay? So we have these vertical angles are 133. Corresponding angles, well, this angle corresponds with this angle. So this angle is congruent to that angle. So they're both equal to 47. Okay. Alternate interior angles, if this angle equals 133, across from it, but across from it and down is going to equal 133. And if this angle equals 47, the exterior across angle is going to equal 47. Similarly, these are vertical angles. So if this angle equals 133, this angle equals 133. And if this angle equals 47, the alternate interior angle across is going to equal 47. So notice how we were able to figure out all the angles, whether it was corresponding, alternate interior, vertical, or alternate exterior, okay? We could have done it lots of different ways, okay? But consecutive interior angles. So these angles on the same side on the inside, okay? 133 plus 47. And what the theorem says about that, if two parallel lines are cut by a transversal, then the pairs of consecutive interior angles are supplementary. What do we know about supplementary angles? Supplementary angles add up to 180 degrees. Did we not just prove that you add up these two angles, 133 plus 47 is equal to 180? Same on this side, 180. So those are the four theorems that are really important for the purposes of this class as well as next class. And we're going to be doing mostly work on these theorems for the next this week as well as next week.